All right, so let's talk about this situation here that went down on the night of June the 14th, 2024, down in South Florida. And after this clip has been played, we're going to come back in here and expand on it on the other side of the video. Fair use is in effect. Without further ado, let's get to it. DJ, spin that shit.
Drawn searching for a man she'd never even heard of. NBC6's Amy Viteri investigates what brought officers to her home and why the woman says they should have known where the man was.
I heard a loud bam on my daughter's room window.
Naomi Simmons says she was alone on June 14th at the home she shares with her 7-year-old daughter when sudden banging startled her.
And when I opened the door, there were 2 guns pointing at me. I said, "Why are you guys at my door pointing guns?"
The men with guns were Miami-Dade police officers, but she says they didn't announce who they were before she opened the door.
They didn't say anything, so I just thought it was random people.
Simmons says officers later told her they had a warrant for this man, Marquise Wiley, wanted for a felony gun charge.
It was an address that he had on his ID.
She says officers told her the address on Northwest 22nd Avenue was previously associated with Wiley, though Simmons says she and her daughter have lived here for over a year.
And I'm still not sleeping. I'm still having nightmares.
Simmons, an Air Force veteran who served in Afghanistan, says the encounter left her afraid and angry.
I already suffer from PTSD from my time in Afghanistan.
Yeah, a lot of people got killed like that.
Her neighbor, Only Bryant, says he's also a veteran who served in Vietnam, and officers banged on his door that day too.
I heard a loud knock, so I came and opened the door. The guy told me to close the door.
Simmons says as soon as officers left her home, she got on her cell phone, and within minutes, checking court records, she was able to see where Wiley actually was.
But the person was already incarcerated.
In fact, Wiley had been in custody for months as he was dealing with 2 criminal cases in Broward and Miami-Dade. In January, court records show he was transferred to a Broward jail to stand trial for his involvement in a 2020 masked robbery at a jewelry store. On May 9th, he was found guilty in that case and sentenced to 10 years.
I was able to find it with no resources and a cell phone on my couch.
Miami-Dade police tell us a judge then issued a warrant to bring Wiley back to Miami-Dade for his ongoing gun case. And BSO says he was in their jail that whole time until he was transferred to state prison on June 13th, a day before Miami-Dade officers went to Simmons' home.
He was at the prison before they even came to my door.
We asked Miami-Dade police how this could happen. They say they checked databases. It's not clear when, but they tell NBC6 investigates whatever they checked did not show Wiley in custody.
Frustrating and scary because you see all these things on the news about people that look like me, men and women who are getting killed because police show up at the wrong house. And police showed up at the wrong house.
Miami-Dade police did not agree to an on-camera interview, but they say they're looking into this case. We're waiting on the video from the officers' body cameras. As for Wiley, his public defender declined to comment. He's pleaded not guilty to the gun charge he's facing in Miami-Dade. Amy Viteri, NBC6 News.
So to recap what you just saw, this woman here on the thumbnail is 27-year-old Naomi Simmons. She is the Air Force veteran that did time in Afghanistan. So when you're deployed, and take it from me, I've done several deployments, right? When you're in that area, right, things can get very, very testy. Now, I've never been to Afghanistan, but I have been deployed. Things get very testy. So, you know, not only get testy, it gets very traumatic. So you're going to have some lingering effects. She talked about the PTSD or the post-traumatic stress disorder, right? When you come back from that hostile area, you're susceptible to that, right? So that on that day of June the 14th, where cops was banging on the door, and they, she's opening the door, and there's guns drawn to her face, and we saw recently what happened with that. And ironically, that story with Roger Fortson, when he opened the door, he had his gun, right? But he didn't point the gun at the officer. He had his hands up, and he was shot dead. Right? So we've seen this situation with Roger Fortson not that long ago. And this woman here almost had a Breonna Taylor, Roger Fortson incident at her doorstep. All because these police officers out here are being incompetent. All because these cops out here being incompetent. And not only they're being incompetent, but they're like almost trying to cover up their incompetency. They spent more time trying to cover up their wrongdoing than to take the necessary steps to get it right the first time. And it's disgusting. So let me understand something. How is it that you have all these resources at your disposal, all these taxpayer dollars are going to not only the salary, but it's also being funded to where you get all these resources, upgrades to your computer, upgrades to the facility, and yet you couldn't find this man in your database. But yet this same woman that you almost murdered at her own house was able to go on her cell phone and pulled up the guy that you were looking for. You guys are incompetent. Coming from NBCMiami.com. Now, I talked about how she was home on June the 14th with a 7-year-old daughter. When cops was banging on the door. She opened the door and there was 2 guns pointed at her. The men with the guns were Miami-Dade police officers, but she said they didn't announce who they were before she opened the door. And to anybody, that could be a case where it could be anybody, at the door. She don't know that they're cops. For all she know, it's just 2 random people at the door, holding her up at gunpoint. How is she supposed to know they were Miami-Dade police officers? She don't know that. Now, Naomi Simmons said that these men said they had a warrant out for a man named Marquise Wiley. Right? Marquise Wiley is the man here on the bottom of the thumbnail. So you mean to tell me that the database see, when I think about this, really pissed me off. So how is it that this woman was able to identify and pull this man up on her cell phone, but yet you got this database where you're supposed to find people whenever, wherever, and yet you can't find him? This whole time the man was incarcerated. It was an address he had on his ID. She said officers told her the address on Northwest 22nd Avenue was previously associated with him, though Naomi Simmons said that she and her daughter have lived there for over a year. A lot of people have gotten killed based on the incompetency of the police officers. And more often than not, Black people have been the targets of such acts. So Simmons says, as soon as the cops left their house, she got on her cell phone and within minutes on a court website said she was able to find where Mr. Wiley actually was. He was at the prison before they even came to her door, she said. So how in the hell could these cops not find where this man was, but yet this woman, who don't have not nearly the resources that the police officers have, was able to find out where this guy was within minutes? Now somebody got to answer that question. With this huge database you guys got, you mean to tell me nobody could find out where this man was, but yet this woman that you almost murdered in her own home was able to get on a cell phone and find out where this guy was? Somebody need the answer for that one. Or we just went off the last address. So you mean to tell me that this man didn't have previous addresses? This man didn't have any other places he could have been at, like jail? You didn't think to look at the database to see if he's already been incarcerated? You didn't think to look at that? Y'all some stupid ass fucking cops, man. And whoever was on that case, they need to be fired. Period. Because there ain't no reason why you got a goddamn person that you already have in custody, and all you got to do is just look it up in the database. You would have seen that this man was already in custody. But instead, you go to the wrong house, and another person almost got victimized because of that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Now y'all don't want to talk to the camera. Now y'all don't want to do interviews. Now y'all don't want to answer questions, but yet y'all can sit there and badger people all day in the interrogation room about this, that, and the third. But when the light gets shined on you, you don't want to answer questions all of a sudden. Make it make sense. Where is the transparency? Y'all always talking this shit about swearing the oath and that we're going to be transparent to the public and that the public has a right to know and we're going to do right by the public. Yeah, that's all empty word gestures. That's empty word gestures. Where is the transparency? Where is the accountability? Somebody need to be fired off this shit. Somebody need to resign. Because see, what happened with Sonia Massey, right? Everybody knows about this, but nobody knows about this case. And it's almost the same damn thing. Because we saying Sonia Massey's name, but the media is not even trying to tell you about this. And before anybody tries to say, oh, you're race baiting and you're this, shut your ass up. Shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody out here doing no race baiting and no rage baiting on this shit. The fact of the matter is this type of thing keep happening, right? This type of thing keep happening where black folks are being victimized by these incompetent, stupid ass, racist ass fucking cops. So we saying Sonia Massey's name right now, but Naomi Simmons almost became another statistic. And I thank God that this woman is able to still be alive today with her daughter. This woman paid her dues to the country. And this is the return she's getting for paying her dues to the country. And then we got elected officials as opposed to, doing something about it. They want to sit up here and play political football and use the name of dead black individuals at the hands of police and other white supremacists as political football as opposed to actually doing something about this. You guys let me know what y'all think, man. If you're not subscribing to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos on your social media platform. Because see, it's content like this that YouTube is not going to send out notifications for. They're not. So I need anybody that sees this within the sound of my voice to like the video, share the video, right? Because we need change in this society when it comes to policing. We need massive changes. Like, it needs to be a complete destruction and rebuilding of the system that's currently in place. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Hurt!